Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how PBIS and ABA combined can improve academic performance in graduate students. Okay. So why is there a need for PBIS and ABA? Well, positive behavior interventions and support tied with ABA can enhance academic performance by using study skills to set the expectation with clear steps on how to be successful with studying. Both of these frameworks use reinforcement, which can motivate students to continue down a positive path of reaching their goals. These frameworks go hand in hand with goal setting by involving the student in creating the goals and monitoring the progress being made. Feedback is key here because it is provided to make sure that the student stays on track and makes modifications as needed. PBIS and ABA combined use strategies that are necessary for student success. In an article by Stephanie C. in 2021, she stated how students are at risk of failure when they are not successfully meeting expectations in school, including academic and behavioral expectations. In this case scenario, Emily is a mixed race neurodivergent woman with ADHD, currently taking online graduate courses for applied behavior analysis. Emily has perfect attendance but faces challenges with assignments and exams. These challenges have caused Emily's grade point average to drop. She now battles stress and anxiety from turning in assignments late and having poor preparation for exams. So, how can PBIS and ABA help Emily increase her academic performance? Well, PBIS would be a good fit for Emily because it is a multi-tiered system that not only addresses student needs, but also involves the use of social and emotional learning techniques for social inclusion and interpersonal engagement. Emily can set goals to help with time management and use practice testing, as mentioned in the Donahue article about 10 learning techniques. She can study in a spaced fashion to avoid cramming and successfully retrieve information. This was also talked about in the Donahue article as well. Emily can utilize coping techniques to help reduce stress and anxiety. Emily can also connect with peers taking the same courses and take advantage of group discussions to increase feeling social acceptance and gain a deeper understanding of the material. So PBIS has three tiers. Tier one is primary prevention, tier two is secondary prevention, and tier three is tertiary prevention. Emily would best benefit from a tier two or tier three approach. Tier two strategies extend the basic logic of PBIS by providing additional and more targeted opportunities for instruction and feedback, as well as more environmental structures to increase the likelihood of success. Tier three provides behavior supports, um, and they have teams that consider behavioral, academic, mental health, social, physical, and contextual variables. Tier three is more individualized, so that's why this would help for Emily in the case that she is on the more severe end and could utilize more intense help. So for our lit review, the Horner 2015 research article just talks about how PBIS helps improve academic and social outcomes for students. The Freeman 2021 article talks about how PBIS uses process oriented skills for academic engagement, being organized, study, and test taking training, and the use of better time management. The Thomas 2023 article is about how PBIS teaches appropriate social behaviors and establishing a reward system. Now, when it comes to the limitations, many of the articles mentioned having similar limitations to the studies that were conducted. PBIS strategies have issues with sustainability and fidelity. PBI strategies did not sustain over time across a couple of years due to the implementation that may or may not be being ran by teachers and staff members. Now, a researcher in 2008 investigated sustainability by surveying 14 individuals and found that there was a lack of leadership with implementation. So, this means that although there is a system in place to help enhance students' academic performance, there could be a chance that over time, some teachers are not using these strategies that are set in place, and it can fade the effectiveness. Now, these limitations in comparison to the AI chatbot, ChatGPT, it was very much aligned with the limitations that were found in the research articles, such as the inconsistent implementation, which may look like teachers not implementing the reward system for positive behaviors. So inconsistencies diminish the effectiveness. It can also have limitations to being resource intensive, which means that schools or staffs may not have the resources for proper implementation. There's also issues with generalized strategies that may not work for all students, meaning that the tier one approach, for example, may not be effective for all the students, especially those with severe behavior or emotional challenges. These can even go beyond a tier three, which would require more intensive support. And lastly, there is a lack of long-term sustainability. PBIS techniques require commitment and leadership. Staff turnover or changing priorities can affect the long-term success of students. And that concludes my PowerPoint.